Hey guys, it's the day after the Share Algarve conference, and it went really well. I did a speech for 30 minutes on influencer marketing, and I was astounded at the response. It really was amazing, and astounded at the amount of people who wanted to get involved in the working title of what we're calling the Algarve Addicts Agency, or potentially Algarve Addicts Gurus. So I decided to put this on YouTube because I know I'm unlisting it because the quality is really bad, but at least it gives you an essence. I may in the future do a different version of this video and a higher quality one, but for now, here it is, 30 minutes all about influencer marketing and the Algarve Addicts Agency.
Hi Mike, can you all hear me? I don't think I even need it. Thanks. But this music I'll get to talking about a little bit later. Okay, so I'm sure none of you know it, but it's related to influencer marketing as well. So good afternoon. My name's Nick Robinson, and I'm here to chat to you a little bit, a very informal chat about influencer marketing. So just to introduce myself a little bit, a long time ago, back in 1998, I was in, it's the last century, it's a long time. I was sitting in corporate IT, information technology, down in Cape Town, in South Africa. And a friend of mine came up to me and said, would you be able to make a website for me? So I'd been tinkering around a little bit with HTML in the past. And I said to him, yeah, sure, I'll make you a website, but what's it all about? Why do you want to make a website? So he said, well, I've got this massive adventure planned. I'm going to fly from Cape Town all the way up to Boston, Massachusetts, take my bicycle, and drive all the way across the United States of America, and then head down to Mexico. So I thought, wow, what a cool project. And I did it, and he loved it, and that was the start of me in digital marketing. So when I arrived in Portugal in the year 2000, I started up my own web development agency, and it went from strength to strength. It was great. And I was in a great position to see the growth of social media over the last 18 years or so. Back in 2003, some of you may remember there was a website called High Five and MySpace, and I think there was something called Bebo or something before that. But these guys all started popping up, and we were all sitting back and watching and thinking, is this going to be a fad? Is it going to all fade away, or is it actually going to work? And Facebook arrived in 2006, and it started to work, and it's working very well. Another little website popped up in 2005, and it rocketed right up the charts. It was almost an instant success. Google bought it, and in 2015 it turned over $8 billion. And that was YouTube. And basically YouTube has changed the way we produce and publish and share videos. So if you look at this image over here, this is a typical video production crew. And as you can see, there's an art director, there's a director, there's a camera, and a first assistant camera, and a second assistant camera, and it goes on. I was privileged enough to be on a shoot for Porsche in the Autodrome of Algarve a couple of years ago. And I walked into the shoot. And these guys grabbed my phone and put a little sticker on it and said, you're not allowed to take any photographs, it's very secure. And then I walked into the set, and there's 50 to 60 people, all with a job to do. And I couldn't believe they're just doing this. So now you compare that to your local YouTuber. This guy, Peter McKinnon, crazy dude from Canada, but he's got a lot of reach. And the thing is, it's a really hard-working job. I mean, this guy basically, he shoots, he edits, he promotes, and he publishes all his own content. So it's a seriously demanding job. And a lot of these guys, as we'll get to see, do this every single day of their lives. But it's an amazing comparison, and the kicker is, sometimes he, on his own, has more reach than a 50-man production unit. That's disruption right there, isn't it? It's crazy. Okay, so I looked around the Algarve just a little bit more, and I identified the fact that there was absolutely zero podcast in the Algarve. And podcasts are a growing phenomenon around the world. They've been around for about 10 years, and they're really hitting the high strokes at the moment. So at the moment, I've had the only English podcast in the Algarve, and it's growing. So that's what Algarve Addicts is. We've got 42 episodes up there on algarveaddicts.com. We've got 10 video blogs about the Algarve. And our idea is to try and create an authentic view of the Algarve. I mean, I've heard this morning a lot of people talking about authenticity. So we want to get away from those corporate slideshows. We want to create some reality here. Anyway. about me. I want to talk to you a little bit about influence. So Google now has a dictionary, and I don't know if you knew that, but they do, and they define influence as the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself, which to me sounds like an insanely vague definition, highly academic, which is great, but let's dig down more into that. The word influencer, according to Google's keyword search of interest over time, has started gaining popularity in about 2014, 2015. So it's become a thing. It was a bit of a cringy word to start off with, an influencer, but everybody's using it these days, and it's the start of the influencer marketing as a whole. Okay, so a question I'd like to ask you guys is, who influences you? If you think about it, it might be your mother, or your father, or a successful uncle, or the newsreader, or a psychologist, or any self-help guru, but we all have interests in our life. Might be somebody else. This lady influences my daughter. I don't know if any of you know Ariana Grande, but she's probably one of the most popular people in our time right now. She's got 150 million Instagram followers. But just to illustrate how she has an effect over people, my daughter comes to me the other day and she's 11 years old. She says, Nick, or she says, Dad. She says, Dad, I figured out that Ariana Grande goes on tour once a year. She's not coming to Portugal this year, but she probably will come next year. So I'd like to go and see the concert. And they've got this special thing, it's like a golden ticket, where you can go behind the scenes with Ariana, take a selfie and hug her and get an autograph, and it's only 800 euros. Do you? So I was a bit shocked with that, and I said, no problem. Tell you what we'll do is we'll make you a list of jobs, and that job's €1, that job's 50 cents, that job's 25 cents. And she thought about this and she said, over 2 years, I think I'll be able to manage it. But what I'm trying to say is that, the impact that Ariana Grande has in her life is quite amazing, or the influence, as we're talking about influencer. Do you remember that music in the beginning? This guy is called Jeremy Loops. He's not super famous, but he's rising hard, and he's from Cape Town, where I'm originally from, and he surfs, and I'm like a true fan of this guy. He puts out anything, I'll buy it. So he exerts quite an influence over me. Don't really need to say anything about this guy. Okay, he exerts a lot of influence over 330 million Americans, and obviously the rest of the world as well. But the key thing about the last three people that I mentioned is that they all have certain skills that have taken them to where they are, and their influence is kind of like a byproduct of what they've done. So obviously Donald Trump is a businessman and a politician, and Ariana Grande is a singer and a musician, and so is Jeremy Loops. Right up there on the top charts of Instagram is Cristiano Ronaldo, and obviously we're very proud of him because he's Portuguese. But it's great. But I'd just like to talk a little bit about celebrity endorsements versus influencer marketing, because this is a clear celebrity endorsement. Cristiano Ronaldo is advertising a shampoo there. I think it's an anti-dandruff shampoo. But now, we know for a fact that he's being paid thousands of euros to do this, right? That's pretty clear, isn't it? He might not even know what this brand is. He might not even have dandruff. He might not even use this, okay? But that's irrelevant. He's standing up there and he's saying, you should use it because I do, because I'm Cristiano Ronaldo. Whereas, if you flip the scales and you go to your local vlogger, not local, but a vlogger that you've been following. Imagine you've been following this vlogger for 2 years, and she vlogs about hair products and beauty, but you've got a relationship with her because you know who her boyfriend is and where she's gone on holiday and all this stuff over the last 2 years. So you've developed a relationship with her. It's a bit of an odd relationship because she has no idea who you are, but you almost know everything about her life because she's told you through her videos. And then she comes along and says, I got this great shampoo and it worked really well for me. It'll work for you, go buy it. And then it's much more of a friend referral than a celebrity endorsement. So it's interesting to see how this is changing. Okay, in 2020, influencer marketing as an industry is predicted to reach $10 billion. Okay, last year it was worth $5 or $6 billion. So you can see how much it's been rising. It's rapidly. But you need to put this all into perspective, because the global advertising and marketing industry is worth about $1.2 trillion. So you can see this is just a drop in the ocean at the moment, but it's going from a rising marketing tactic to an essential part of any company's marketing budget. And I think most of you should be aware of how influencer marketing works. So if you define influencer marketing, it's a form of marketing in which focus is placed on influential people rather than the target market as a whole in social media. So it identifies the individuals who have influence over potential customers and orients marketing activities around these influencers. So basically you're gearing your marketing. You're heading for the guy with a group of people who follows him, or the girl who with a group of people who follow them, and saying, here's my product, would you share this with your market? If you've got a hotel or something, come stay in my hotel and tell all your followers about them. It's very simple, and you pay the marketer, you pay the influencer. Okay, I'm just going to talk about a couple of influencers at the moment. This chap's name is Louis Cole. He's from, has anybody heard of Louis Cole before? Yes, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, great, that's great. He's got about 2 million followers and 4 in this room, which is great. Well done. Okay, he was born in Surrey in the UK, and he started a channel on YouTube called Food for Louis. And what this guy would do is he would eat crazy stuff. Like, imagine a tarantula. And I'm not sure if it was live or not, but I saw this video, it was disgusting. Then he ate a goldfish, and the RSPCA, which I'm not sure if all of you are familiar, is the Royal Society of Prevention to Cruelty to Animals. And they got involved, and they said, no, you can't do this. There was a massive thing in the newspaper, and Louis, he's a smart guy, he said, look, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to change my brand to be Fun for Louis. So instead of Food for Louis, Fun for Louis. And he went out and did quite a few activities, and he was notable for the fact that, not just because he has 2 million followers, but he started the daily vlogging movement. So, like that picture I showed you earlier, he would go out every single day just about and shoot, edit, produce, publish, and promote his own content. And people look at his videos and go, wow, what a cool life you have, Louis. But they don't realize how close this guy was to exhaustion all the time. And he's still doing it. It's crazy. Okay, another chap. Anyone heard of this guy? Now there we go, Casey Neistat, 11 million followers, I think. So Casey Neistat, when he was 16, went to New York City to try and make it big, and he did. He went with his brother, and they made an HBO television show, and did really well out of that. And he was looking at YouTube, and saw this daily vlogging trend, and he thought, well, hell, I'm going to try that. So he did, and his influence shot up overnight. But Casey Neistat's a bit of a maverick. I just want to show you this video. It's 4.5 minutes long, and it just shows you what he did for Nike. Do you know what that was actually advertising? It was the bracelet, yeah, but he didn't mention it much at all in the whole show, so it's a very, very different way of advertising. But Nike loved it, so it was a success. Another influencer is a guy called Mr. Ben Brown, and he also grew up in Surrey in the United Kingdom. He was an Olympic kayaker, and his friend, who was the first guy I was talking about, Louis Cole, suggested that he start making vlogs when he went on his tours around the world. He did, and he earned about 700,000 followers. And it's very interesting because he'll go to Cape Town, South Africa, and he'll show you exactly what it's about, what coffee places to go to, and where to surf and everything. So he developed a really loyal audience. But if we look at the Algarve itself, and what happens down here in the Algarve every single summer, and hopefully a little bit more in the winter these days as well. But a lot of people, a lot of Instagrammers, a lot of YouTubers come down to the Algarve, spend a couple of days here, get excellent content, and then fly away. So let's look at a few people who have been here recently. This girl is from Los Angeles, her name is Helen Owen. She's got 1.5 million followers. And you can see her selling herself on Benagil Beach and Praia de Marinha, and a nice little sunset picnic on the cliffs. Beautiful images, which is great. Henry Du got an incredible image, drone image of Sagres Lighthouse at dusk and Praia do Camilo. And you can see 170,000 followers, and this is a travel couple. Her other half has another 170,000 followers. So they arrive, take a few images of Lagos, and wow, another 300,000 people get interested in the Algarve. Marcy U, again, the same story. Praia do Camilo again, which is a very popular beach. I think those stairs have been photographed many times. 104,000 followers. But it's not just Instagrammers who come to the Algarve. A lot of YouTubers come here as well. This is probably the highest, the vlog with the highest amount of views on YouTube. It's about 450,000 views. Her name is Tamara Goro from Spain, and it's all in Spanish, which is great to see. Mimi Icon is a blogger from the UK. She travels quite a lot with her family. She came and got about 300,000 views on her vlog in the Algarve. The same thing with a family from from Holland who came to Zoomerine and influenced another 250,000 people by this video. This chap as well, another example, his name is Lost LeBlanc, the name of his channel, and same thing. Okay, so you get the picture. So all these people are coming down to the Algarve, creating excellent content, and then leaving. So I was thinking, what if we could retain some of that influence? What if we could try and use it, try and keep it here in the Algarve a little? So can you imagine if we had a group of local influencers here in the Algarve? Because there are lots of local influencers here in the Algarve, people doing great work. And we bring those all together and form an agency which could actually help the local, help the international influencers when they come here. So the way influencers actually build their following, a lot of them, is they collaborate between each other. So they share their audience with each other. So if we start getting these international influencers coming here, and as local influencers, we show them where to go in the Algarve, because we know the Algarve a whole lot better than they do. They arrive here, they read a guidebook, they're here for 3 days, and they might not see the right places. We know the culture, we know the history of Portugal, and we know the spirit of the place, and we know all the people. So we're well suited to help these people and to collaborate with them, and to benefit from their influence. Okay. The key here is to collaborate. If we all get together as local influencers in the Algarve, and we collaborate together and work together, we'll build our own followings together, and we'll attract more international influences to the Algarve, and everybody will win. It's just pure synergy. Okay, so Jorge Cabasso, who, as you know, is the organizer of this event, and we're getting together and we're doing a project called the Algarve Addicts Agency. It's a working title at the moment. But what we're trying to do at this stage is to identify local influencers, get a list of all of us together, and then start collaborating together and start meeting up. And then the second phase will be to host international influencers. So we'll make strategic level partnerships with tourism boards, etc., and bring these international influencers over and make them aware that we are here to help them and to collaborate with them when they're in the Algarve. Okay. So just the third phase, what we're going to do is get brands involved and enable everybody to get paid, because that's obviously an important part of the whole process. Okay. But if you go into any school or go into a shopping mall, go into a restaurant these days, and you look at all the kids, what are they doing? Generally, they're walking around like this. Okay? And you don't bump into them, they're sitting down. But and you ask them, you say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And a lot of them will say, I want to be an Instagrammer, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to, it used to be football players, and sure, still some of the guys want to be football players, but this group of guys are the local YouTube heroes. So on the right there's a guy called Windo, Want, Sarkazio, and a whole bunch of others. And these guys have millions of followers. And that was actually taken up in a house near Lisbon, where they all got together and collaborated, and it was called the YouTuber House. And again, you can see what is running through here. The theme is they all collaborated. Okay. So basically, I'm not a guru. I don't have 6 million followers. All I'm doing is standing up here is wanting to ask you guys and call you together to come together so we can try and build a small local influencer community here in the Algarve. Okay? Try and empower the existing influencer community in the Algarve. Because you see, as Tony Robbins says, you see in life, Lots of people know what to do, but few people actually do what they know. Knowing is not enough. You must take action. So if there are any of you who are influencers, please go ahead and sign up on algarveaddicts.com/agency. Just drop your email in. That's all. I hope you learned a little bit about influencer marketing today. So I'd just like to thank you all very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you. Okay, so before we start, do we have a time frame for this influencer ad agency?
No time.
No time.
No, we just at the moment we're just doing some feasibility studies and seeing the response and judging the response. So no time frame as of now.
Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask me? Sorry, there's one here first. We'll give you the microphone later.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is that I really liked your presentation, and as a small creator too, I started a YouTube channel and Instagram that I had an idea that was as influenced by Peter McKinnon and Casey Neistat and everything. I thought I really like travel, but I cannot afford traveling abroad. So I'm gonna start a project or start a compilation of videos showcasing the beauty of the Algarve. So what I wanted to say to you is, what tips do you have for a small creator like me?
Well, I just think you have to I think it's a great idea. First of all, excellent concept. It's kind of a concept that a lot of people are doing these days, is exploring their own backyard. Because in the UK, when a lot of terrorism came out, they were all saying, look, you don't have to travel anywhere else, you could just stay in the UK and explore the UK. Yours is a similar kind of concept. Just explore the Algarve. But as far as any advice for you, it's hard. It really is hard. You're just going to have to make content and content and content. Understand your target market. That's obviously the most important thing. Interact with them. Ask them what they want. And if you find the questions that you find people's pain points. If you look at your audience and say, well, what do they really need to know about the Algarve? And what do they want? What do they like? And just solve those problems for them. And once you've solved those problems, you'll grow.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, you had a question at the back?
Hi, good afternoon. Great talk that you've done this afternoon. It's really nice, thank you. I just wanted to know what sort of people that you're looking for as influencers, and what is the objective? What's the final goal that you're looking for influence? How? Who? Who's the market?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Good question. Thank you. What we're looking for is to create an agency of influencers and to help to train them in the art of influencing and to take better content on Instagram, take better content on YouTube, etc., and all the other platforms. And obviously, being in the Algarve, travel is high on top of our list, and that's a great target market to go for. But it's not just that; it's also beauty bloggers and other types like sports people and all kinds of people who have different kinds of influence. As long as they're living in the Algarve or living in Portugal, and qualify and are keen to make a career out of this. Because what I was alluding to in the talk was that a lot of kids want to do this as a career, and it is a legitimate career, but it's really hard when you don't have anyone to help you out. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Okay.
Anybody else?
Good afternoon. Do you have any strategy for brands business?
For brand business?
Brand business, yeah. You talk about brands, including brands and making some kind of deal. Is that in...
Absolutely. I mean, that forms part of the agency because we're connecting the influencers with the brands. So we're going to go to the brands like hotel groups and everybody like that and say, okay, we have these influencers over here. We'd like to run a campaign with this particular influencer. They fit your target market. Let's do it. Okay, so it's the strategy at this stage. It will evolve a lot as we go forward. Okay?
Still developing.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. More questions?
Hello. The Região Turismo already does a lot of that work. Will you not be competitors of Região Turismo in this way?
No, on the contrary, we'd like to work very, very closely with them and help out, because as you say, yeah, it's a part of their job and their performance to do fam trips and things like this. We'd like to assist them in that respect. So it's definitely not competition. I'd say it's more collaboration, so we can try and grow a much bigger community here and benefit everybody in the Algarve.
Can I make another question?
Yeah.
In terms of funding, how will it work, Algarve Addicts? Região Turismo has funds to invest, of course, to bring these people here. How will this business work out?
I mean, how will we earn our money, basically?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a commission of each deal that like say, for example, you're taking a hotel group, and if they're doing a deal with the influencer, they will pay the influencer to do the deal, and we'll take a commission of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. You're going to go start one now. Good business plan.
Anybody else?
Hi, great presentation. I'm a small content creator myself. I did vlogging, daily vlogging for 170 days, basically. But I want to ask if you have, do you already have some clients or some influencers to work with, some brands or?
At this stage, no, we don't. You can sign up right now.
Okay.
Okay, so you can get out the phone and do it. This speech was designed to test the waters and to see what people would think. So yeah, it's very, very early days yet, but we've got a lot of plans.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Nick, obviously we know each other quite well, but I just wanted to give some feedback really and just say that it's nice to see that someone is bridging the gap of small content creators and putting them in touch with businesses, because as again a small content creator myself, it's quite hard to sell yourself and your capabilities to businesses a lot of the time. I'm lucky I've done quite a few brand deals and things in the past, but it's been difficult to break into it, and having someone that's going to do that and sell it on a wider scale is nice to see.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, it's the first one. Well, I love the project. I think it's a great idea. We already have that kind of idea already, because it's, I think, a new generation marketing that we're facing right now. Mm-hmm. But my question is regarding in terms of being small content creators. It's very, very hard to reach out to potential companies that we really like to work with, just because of sheer numbers. It doesn't justify for them to pay us, basically. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the biggest benefit of you being small is that you have a very high engagement rate generally. I mean, I don't know your channels, but you probably have a lot higher engagement rate than somebody with a couple of, maybe 1 million followers, because you can actually interact with your customers a lot more with your audience. So I think that is a big benefit in the start. But yeah, it is always hard in the beginning, isn't it? There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And I hope that a project like this could make it a lot easier for the people down here in the Algarve, especially if we all come together and collaborate and meet and share ideas and share our influence. Yeah.
I really like the ideas.
Thanks very much. Yeah, we should talk for sure. Okay.
I have a question. Will you... That's okay. Will you actually guide smaller content creators and influencers in how to position themselves to actually get to these companies? Because what you see a lot of times, you have a younger generation that wants to be an influencer and just put stuff on Instagram, but without a real focus on target audience or niche or whatever. Will your agency do that part as well to help somebody like this front row that's starting and has the smaller numbers but really needs that targeting?
I think that's an essential part of the plan, absolutely, is to help people and guide them, and we can point you in the right direction to the right information. We can all discuss it and go ahead and guide you. I mean, I think the best person to guide you is these international influencers that will be part of the program. So we'll try and bring them over and get them to talk to us and get them to give us tips and tricks. And they, as I said before, one of the best ways to enhance your audience is by sharing and being in their videos and collaborating in that way. So yeah, absolutely, it's definitely part of the plan to try and help younger starters.
Anybody have any more questions? No? Okay, Nick, thank you so much. Very, very good project. Big round of